I'm really excited for you for today's video because we're going to be going over one of the most powerful tools that you have in PowerPoint, which is the Morph transition. And when Microsoft put this in PowerPoint a number of years ago, it was clear immediately that there was a ton of value in this one little transition that can do so much. Yet I find that not many people know about it, or if they do know about it, maybe not knowing different ways to apply it in scenarios. And so in this video, I'm going to give you some really great examples on how you can use Morph, but also show you how some of the basic underlying principles of how to use it. Okay, so let's dive in and talk about Morph. Now, I'm going to show you two examples. In this first one, it's about a recent chart I saw regarding a basketball game between Houston and Duke. And I do apologize that if there are any Duke fans out there watching this right now, this is just for illustrative purposes. I'm going to hit the over arrow and you'll see that because I apply the transition of Morph, I can zoom in and start telling a narrative. This chart actually really is nice and clean overall, but I want to add some extra bits of narrative. And so when I hit the over arrow, you can see that nice zoom in, and I added some text boxes here where I say, Duke takes the early lead with a good degree of margin. Houston falls behind from early on. And then when I hit the over arrow, I continue with my narrative. That trend continues for most of the game. Houston continues to lag in scoring. And then ultimately I show at the end that Duke falls behind in the closing seconds for a stunning loss and Houston wins. And so when I hit the over arrow one more time, you'll see it zooms back out and we can see here the nice graph overall. So that's just one way. A second way that you can use Morph, and there are lots of ways, this was for a client that I've made up the names, but the people are real and the situation is real. And so Sally came to me because she oversees, and she's the VP of this 85-ish or so strategy division for a large company. And Sally wants to build data visualization and strategic narrative muscle, not only in her direct reports, but even throughout her organization to the people that report to those 7 direct reports. And so I put together a few slides to visualize for Sally what this could look like in terms of getting my help and support. And so here you see Sally is the overall lead and direction. And when I hit the over arrow, you're going to see these here circles expand, right? Because we're focusing in now on Sally's 7 direct reports. And I was telling Sally, well, look, for that group, I'm going to give them tailored one-on-one consulting, do some train the trainer, help them with their executive storytelling, and of course, some ongoing project-based support. And so when I hit the over arrow, you'll see because of Morph, those circles come back together nicely. And then I wanted to walk her through a story of how we could actually identify high potentials in that group of 80 and identify about 10. And for those high potentials, give them some tailored one-on-one consulting and coaching and help them really to build their data-driven presentation muscle. And so she loved that idea. And then for the remaining 70 to 80 or so associates, that big critical mass group, we don't want to neglect them. And so for them, you could see that, it's about workshops of 20 to 40 per group. It's helping them understand what materials they produce and giving some recommendations around that. And so anyway, you get the idea. But I'm using Morph to make those circles transition between each slide. And this was a really effective way for me to show Sally how I could help her and her team build that muscle throughout her organization. So if you want to see how you can actually build that, let's take a look at the next slide. Morph is a transition, actually, and you'll find it at the top by clicking the Transitions tab. And you can see it's the second one over here. So what I want you to do, if you want to follow along, is you can open up a blank slide in PowerPoint. And what I'm going to do to show you the power of this is I'm going to go to the Insert tab, and then I'm going to click on Shapes. And you may not see the pop-down window here. And I'm going to click on a rectangle. And I'm just going to drag and draw here a nice little rectangle. Okay, so now I have slide 16, and what I want to do is duplicate this slide. And so by clicking on slide 16 on the left, I'm going to hit Control D, which duplicates it. If you have a Mac, you can hit Command D. And so now I have slides 16 and 17, which are the same. On slide 17, I'm going to move this rectangle to the bottom right. And so what Morph does is it looks at the start state, which in this case is slide 16, and then the end state, which is in this case 17, and then it stitches that content together. And so while on slide 17, what I'm going to do is go up to transitions and select Morph, and you get a little preview. And it looks really smooth on my end. Again, with the recording, it might look a little choppy, but when I go up to slide 16 and I go slideshow from the current slide, and I hit the over arrow, you could see that it moves that rectangle really, really seamlessly from slide 16 to 17. So that's one cool thing you can do with Morph. A second thing is you can actually resize elements. And so on slide 17, I'm actually going to select this rectangle and make it more of a square. So now we've moved it and resized it. So let me go back up to slide 16, hit slideshow from the current slide. And when I hit the over arrow, you could see that it not only moves the rectangle, it also resizes it. Pretty cool, huh? The last thing I'm going to show you that you can do, although there's more, is to actually change the color. And so I'm going to select this square. And when I do that, I get the Shape Format tab that appears at the top. I'll click on that, and I'm going to click on Shape Fill, and I'm going to select a nice bright red. And so now we're asking Morph to do three things. We're asking it to move the rectangle, we're asking it to resize it, and thirdly, we're asking it to recolor it. So when I go up to slide 16, I hit slideshow from the current slide, and I advance. You could see it does all those three things really seamlessly. So there's a lot you can do with this tool, and I hope you can explore with it and make some really great applications yourself. Of course, if you want more insights, give me a buzz, send me an email, and would love to help you and your team humanize your data and make it more actionable.